conference will now be recorded.
Fine. Hi all, very good morning. Fine. Um, I'll just give a quick recap here and we will be moving, further to discuss what is SQL. Okay. So in the yesterday's session, we were trying to understand what is data, right? So we figured out a data is nothing but collection of, information about any object in this universe is nothing but a data. Now after that we come across two kinds of data. One is qualitative and the next one quantitative. Out of those two, we concluded that quantitative data we are dealing in order to give some analysis, because quantitative data is a statistical one. So this is what our conclusion yesterday. And then we moved into the concept called DBMS. So what is DBMS? It's a database management system. Do you think it's a hardware application? Do you think we need to install something? No, right? It's a software. Okay, so where it will be giving us some advantages, it is having some properties, and this DBMS will be having for each database. Okay, so when we discuss about this DBMS, it's a management. For whom it's a management? For database, it's a management. Okay, so DBMS become a management. See, just like that, nothing will become a management, right? Storing data in a notebooks got failed. Storing data in a text got failed. Storing data in a what? Leaves or somewhere. Maybe in the notebooks, maybe in the text, maybe in the words. Somewhere, something like this got failed. So that is where DBMS comes into the picture. And right, what are the disadvantages if we store data in a notebook? What are the disadvantages if we store data in a normal text in laptop? I hope you know that. So can anybody, wanted to discuss what are the disadvantages that we are going to face? Disadvantages if we
Data,
store data. Yeah.
data can be missed.
Yes. First point, correct. Yeah, if you're unable to speak, you can use chat box here. So data can be missed means security was not there for data. Correct? Fine. The next one. Next one. Next one. Security is missing. Do we have honesty there? If we have data in a notebooks, if we have data in a word, okay, word format. If we have data in a, somewhere in Excel, no, right? We don't have that. Because who knows, someone will erase the data and keep a dummy data on it. Who knows, my data is corrupted with some other's data. Honesty is missing. And the next one, these are the two things you need to remember. See, if you are able to understand DBMS, it is also required why previous methods are failed. Got it? Fine. Now the second one, retrieval. What is meant by retrieval? It's a technical word. Retrieval, I think you are listening retrieval for the first time. So retrieval is nothing but fetching the data. Okay, in general, I mean, in normal English, what is meant by retrieval? Getting something, right? Getting something from it or getting somewhere from it. Quest. You know what is meant by quest? What is the meaning of quest? A questions. Okay, so from the quest, what you will retrieve? Answers you will retrieve. You have this uh, Q&A. Okay, maybe you're attending some sessions, there you will be having some Q&A. Okay, so from that Q&A, what you will retrieve? You will retrieve knowledge from it. So what is meant by retrieving? Just getting something from from anything. So here in the sequel, retrieval is a technical word where professionals are using it for retrieving the data, fetching the data. See, if you attend an interview, no one will ask you how you will fetch the data. Okay, it's okay if some interviews ask like that. But what if you are attending interview with some other companies, maybe startups or somewhere? Retrieving. A professional word is retrieving the data. How you will retrieve the data? How you'll answer it if you don't know the meaning of it? Okay, that's where keep this word as your keyword. Okay, so retrieving is nothing but fetching the data. So if you store data in a notebook, that fetching takes time. Yesterday we discussed, right? If we have 100 records, out of 100 records, if you want to get a 99th record, you have to scan till 1 to 100, which is very hectic. Correct? So that retrieval is slower. Three disadvantages we found if we store data in notebooks, if we store data in Word also, if you store data in, okay, Excel, maybe you can find, I mean, you have a something called filter, right? That even Excel files, if you have terabytes of data. Terabytes means huge amount of data. So we have petabytes, terabytes, where now we are dealing with the terabytes of data and petabytes of data. Okay, so that data, if you store in Excel, obviously it will give lot of error. I'm not sure whether we can store that data in Excel. I have some limited knowledge in Excel, so I am not sure we can store that petabytes of data in Excel. Okay, so retrieval is very slow. We're not going for it. And the next one, um, duplicates. See, let's say in a paper I have written 100 names, and at 101, I thought I have repeating the names again. What I have to do? What I have to do? See, in general, let's say I have written 101 names. At 102 name, I was thinking, I think I have repeated this name. So what I should do? Go back and see all 101 names now, which is very complex for me to do that, right? So that's where I am asking you, remember the disadvantages, then you will understand this advantages. Okay, so all those disadvantages are the advantages in DBMS. Okay, so DBMS will give us all these things for us for free of cost. You don't need to pay anything for DBMS. Okay, so it's a software, guys. It's a software. No need to install anything, no need to buy anything. So what you have to do is, you have using one database. For that database, these are mandatory. See, in future, maybe one of you wants to introduce a new database. Okay, maybe after 2 years, after 3 years, after 4 years, you are interested to work on a new database. Then what you have to do, you have to consider these advantages, DBMS advantages in your mind. You have to design your database in a way, then you can introduce into market with some permissions. That, just keep in your mind, these are the advantages. And after that, we have something called acid properties. which is very, very, very important. See, a person who has, I mean, recent experience, I'm just sharing you. There is my colleague where she just shifted a company. She was having 6 years of experience. Okay, she experienced this question in the interview. Got it? And the same question experienced by a fresher. Remember how important the acid property was. See, this you are not using anywhere. No, conceptually, you're not writing code to implement this one. You're not writing, lengthy lines of something. No, no, you're not doing anything. Your database, your DBMS will do this for you. But what you have to do is make sure whether your database is following this or not. It's a basic one. Okay, now let us try to understand what is acid properties. Okay, A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation, D stands for durability. Okay, so these four words we need to understand. Now, before going into these acid properties technically, I just want to tell you a small story here. Okay, so how many of you are using I mean, how many of you are having bank accounts? It's a universal example I'm giving you since 12 batches. Okay, see, I'm using bank account, you're using bank account, everybody was having bank account these days, right? So we have I mean, what do we say, net banking, right? See, we have net banking for the same bank, we have a debit card for the same bank, we have phone pay, Google Pay, some Paytm, yeah, Paytm.
Your voice is breaking.
Sorry,
Your voice
what happened?
kept on breaking.
Is it
Your
breaking?
voice is breaking, Divya.
Okay, okay, just give me a minute, I'll check my uh, network. Just give me 1 minute, I'll use another internet. Am I audible now? Is it fine?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys. If you feel, somewhere if it is breaking or if it is not clear, just inform me. It's quite fine. Okay, thank you so much. Now, before understanding this acid properties, I just want to tell you a small story here. Okay, so everybody was having bank accounts, right? So for every bank account we have some different ways of payment, right? Maybe we can use net banking, maybe we can use uh, you know debit cards, we can use phone pay, Google Pay, or Paytm, or some other apps we have if you want to pay to someone, right? Now, let us consider this bank account. If you inserted your debit card into an ATM, okay, now how many options you have getting a money and not getting a money? only two, right? If you insert a card, either you should get a money. See, of course, you have to enter pin and everything. I'm not talking about that one. See, after entering all the amount, pin, and everything, only two things we have. Either you should get a money, or else your transaction should cancel for some other reasons. Maybe insufficient balance, maybe some technical issue from the bank. Maybe for these reasons, your transactions may cancel or may happen successfully. Only these two things, right? Now, this point, keep aside. Again, same, you have inserted the debit card into your Paytm. Sorry, what, ATM, right? My bad. So you inserted your debit card in the ATM. You have 500 rupees in your account, or else let us take 1000 rupees you have in your account. Now you have withdrawn 500 rupees by using the debit card from the ATM. Now the transaction is successful. Now, after checking in your account, what should be there? Only 500, because 500 you already taken. Now, after withdrawing that 500, your bank should show only 500 in your account, because 5 you already taken, only 5 should show. If it is showing 300, myself, I will call to bank, what about my 200? Everybody does the same. Okay, if you withdraw 500 and if it is having 500, that is nothing but consistency in the amount, or else consistency the bank is maintaining. Okay, the next one, this is another point. Now, you can, same 1000 rupees you have in your account, and you are using net banking. Okay, and you have given your card to your mother or father to do some payment. Okay, so you are using net banking, your mother or father using credit card, I mean a debit card, and someone is using, or else some, maybe your sibling is using your phone pay, you have given them. Okay, so these modes of payment are using at a time. Because of some others transaction, do your transaction will affect that? Don't tell me I haven't tried. Okay, so general, it won't affect. Okay, see, you will make the payment at 10:10, your father will make the payment at 10:11, or your sibling will make the payment at 10:10. That's still fine. Okay, so multiple transactions can done, right? See, you are in independent platforms, you are in different platforms. One is a network, I mean network, what we can say, network login, right? Net banking, sorry, net banking. So the next one is in you know using some UPIs, and someone is using cards. Three different platforms, three independent platforms, but multiple transactions. Next one, keep this also aside. Now, see, suddenly you're doing some network banking. Okay, net banking. Suddenly your network crashed. Okay, network crashed means some Wi-Fi issues, maybe some network issues. So because of that, it got suddenly logged off. Now, what it will do? Either, see, you have initiated the payment, but unfortunately you have logged out. What happens? Because of initiating has done, it will proceed. I mean, the transaction will be successful. Or else, if the transaction is not done, what happens? It will fail the transaction. But do you think the amount in your account will be send it to someone because of that failure? Maybe amount from your account will be credited to someone. No, right? See, your system failed, or else your network crashed. You initiated the payment. Either it will happen or it will not happen. Okay, so if it happens, fine. to whom you have initiated, it's fine. If it is not happening, that is also fine. It will be in your account. See, that is the only two things you will be having. If your system is crashed or if your network is crashed, it doesn't mean that the amount in your bank will be gone somewhere. Okay, so whatever the changes you have made, that changes will be there in your transaction, but nowhere it will go if your system fails. Okay, now this is an example. Just keep this example in your mind. Now I will try to apply this example with this acid properties. Okay, very first one is atomicity. See, you have a definition here. The entire transaction takes place at once or doesn't happen at all, which means you have inserted your debit card into your ATM, right? In the ATM general, not your ATM, into ATM. What happens? Either transactions happens or else it doesn't happen at all. Either you will get money or you won't get money. So that particular term, technical term, is nothing but an atomicity. Got it? Now, the database must be consistent before and after the transaction, which is nothing but a consistency. Since yesterday we are talking about this word consistency. What is meant by consistency? Initially I thought, food. It's not that. Consistency is nothing but a steadiness. Okay. You have you have initiated some transactions and you got some amount. So before and after the transaction, your amount should be same. Here also, consistency is nothing but before and after the transaction of the data. Okay, the database should be very consistent. So that is second property. Okay, I will tell you what is this transaction means. So Bhavya, transaction means it's a bank transaction? No. In SQL, we have a beautiful definition for transaction. Okay, I'll tell you. Now, isolation. Isolation means this word I got clarity after COVID. Because see, in COVID, we have many things called isolation wards, isolating the people, something like this. What we are doing? We are just, taking some space from them, or they're separated. Here also, in our example, three modes of payment we have introduced: net banking and phone pay and card. So three independent transactions was happening, right? Here in the SQL also, you are doing some transaction, your colleague is doing some transaction, your manager is doing some transaction of the data. That should be independent. That is nothing but an isolation. Durability means if your system got crashed, okay, the data, nothing will happen to data. According to today's technology, nothing happens to data. Okay, so even if it is in a old, if you talk about not a new technology, if it is an old technology also, nothing happens to data. Because if it is important data, and obviously if it is a client's data, we will be maintaining some backups. Okay, so that is also fine. Durability it is giving. Now, if in future, if you want to introduce some DBMS or else some database into the market, what you have to do? You have to keep these four properties in your mind and you have to introduce your database into the market. See, keeping this in your mind means what? You have to include these properties in your database. Database is nothing but in the database management system. Okay, now, so these are the four properties which is very important. I request you to work on this one. So remember these four keywords and try to understand. Now, we have different kinds of database management systems. Okay, So in general we have, right, in college there is one management system, in office we have another management system, maybe in a work area we have some other management systems, right, in general. Now similar to that we have these kinds of database management system. One is hierarchical, next one is network, another one relational, next one is object oriented model. First we will talk about what happened. Okay, first we will talk about, hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first we will talk about hierarchical DBMS. So hierarchical DBMS is nothing but, see, let us see this example. We have vehicle. In the vehicle we have two wheeler, four wheeler, six wheeler, eight wheeler, something like that. In the two wheeler we have bike, scooter, and maybe cycle, bicycle, everything, right? Now in the four wheeler we have car, some tractor, minibus. Under the car you have different models. See, here it is maintaining hierarchy. Okay, hierarchy is nothing but some levels you will be having. Okay, some parent and child relationship we have here. See, for car, tractor, and minibus, parent is four wheeler. For four wheeler, parent is vehicle. Now, for two wheeler, parent is vehicle. For bike and scooter, parent is two wheeler. For two wheeler, children are bike and scooter. For car, what are the child? Sedan and SUVs. See, this kind of hierarchy, if we maintain in the data, then that is nothing but an hierarchical DBMS. Now, this is a story of early 70s. Okay, this is a story of early 70s. So, what happened, Bhavya, now? I will tell you. See, if you want to get the data from Sidon, what you have to do? You have to travel all these hierarchies. And one more thing, I don't want to delete, I don't want to have SOA's information for now. What I can do, see, if, oops, if this is a story, let's say SUV's data, if I want to delete, see, there is a chance of deleting car details, there is a chance of deleting four wheeler details, and there is a chance of deleting vehicle. If it is not, okay, if that chance is not there, then there is a chance of losing SUV's data permanently. If you want to retrieve the information from SUVs, you have to travel all these four tables, or else all these four values. Maybe if it is in the form of text. I think generally, if it is an hierarchical one, it is in the form of text. I mean, descriptive one. I feel text format, text. Okay, text format. Maybe you can have some research what kind of data it is storing previously. Okay, so because of this hierarchy, one is linked with another one. Because of that, hierarchical DBMS is not able to handle large data sets. Okay, because of this drawback, a next one, okay, a next one called networkal database come into the picture. So networkal database is nothing but what? It is interlinked. Interlinked means one is connected with another one. So somehow when compared to hierarchical DBMS, networkal database is, I mean, networkal management system, database management system is having some advantage. So if you want to get a department one details, maybe you can get it from college, or maybe you can get it from director. If you want to delete department one, maybe there is a chance of losing college details, or maybe there is a chance of losing director details, because those are interconnected. We can't just remove the relation between those values. We can't do that. We must have a relation for those not tables, for those values. So somehow here also, if you want to maintain a huge volume of data, maybe we are experiencing more duplicates. Maybe see this duplicate concept, these things you will understand in the normalization at last. Okay, in a high view I'm just telling you. If you want, you can do some research on it, but in the normalization concept I will tell you everything with an example. Okay. So yeah, this is also a networkal one. Maybe if maybe there is a chance of having duplicates, that is where, see, if you have 10 records, 10 duplicates you are getting, there only you are getting 20 records, right? What if you have 10 millions of data? What if you have 1 GB of data? What if you have 6 GB of data? What if you have terabytes of data, petabytes of data? That's all. No work, nothing. Networkal will doesn't work at all because of its network. So somehow, as days are moving, uh, data is increasing, in a vastly. It got failed. Okay. So after this one, not object oriented one. See, networker is also failed, right? Networker is an early 80s story. Okay. So networkal DBMS is also failed. After networkal DBMS, we have relational database. Okay, relational model, we have relational DBMS model, we have, along with this relational model we have object oriented DBMS also. These two are having huge impact in the industry. Okay, see, this object oriented DBMS is mainly useful for programmers. Okay, consider a car. Okay, let's consider a car. Um, let us assume. See, I know only Java. I know. I mean, I'm familiar with Java, so I'm just considering Java language here. No need to bother about anything. See, let's say I have a car. I want to design some feature. Maybe it's a touch feature, or maybe some other mechanic feature I want to design. Okay, now I will be writing a code in Java in a way that all the hardware parts information I need to store in one class. All the uh, you know its feature, maybe for car we will have some speed. What is the speed, or else what is the uh, petrol it will consume to travel 1 hour, we'll have that thing, right? So that I'll be storing in another class. So in order to write some code in programming language related to data, this object oriented DBMS is used. See, nothing more. Same DBMS advantages what we have discussed, and the same acid properties what we have discussed. In a similar way, they will consider one object. See, anything is an object, right? See, let us assume we for a car. Okay, for a car we are designing. For every car, we will have four wheels. For every car, we will have uh, you know what are similar things in car? Maybe let us assume there are few things which are similar in cars. For those similar things, I'm just having one class in Java. So for programmers, this is helpful. Bhavya, we are not programmers. If you learn SQL, you are coders, you are developers, data developers, you are data engineers, you are data analysts. Okay, just remember this point now. Okay, we are not talking much on this one because we are not using this. Okay, as of now, maybe in the future also it is not so helpful for the data engineers, maybe for the data analyst, maybe for the data scientists. I'm not sure about data scientists because they data scientists will take help from us from data engineers. Okay, now let us talk more about this relational model. See, after hierarchical dbm sorry after networkal dbms, obviously it is not dealing with huge amount of data, right? So there is a person called ef cod. There is something E for Edgar, I think. Ferdinand Cord, I believe. Okay, so in short, we will call it as EF Cord. So okay, so there is a person from IBM, which is nothing but EF Cord. Okay, he is working for IBM. So that person has thought to introduce a new DBMS for the vast amount of data. Because see, for every 10 years there is a possibility of increasing vast data, and if it increases like that, obviously it is very difficult for us to do, right? Now what I will do, I mean what ef cord is thinking, he wanted to introduce a dbms, a new dbms, which should be in a form of table. Okay, so if you see, I let us take one example. I asked you to maintain some okay, everybody familiar with this example, I believe. In our school days, okay, in our school days, our teachers asked us to have what after exams? Marks sheet, right? So in the mark sheet we are just drawing one table, and in one is name column, first Telugu, Hindi, English, social, EVS, something like that. These subjects we are having, and we are making one table, right? So why you are not writing in a descriptive format? Why you are taking it in a table? If I do it in a descriptive format, next time my teacher will never ask me to do that, because for her or else for him it is very difficult to see who got the first rank, who got the last rank, who are lagging in which subject, whom I should help to gain more marks for the next time. So this analysis teachers can't do if you have the data, I mean if you have your marks in descriptive format. So that is where we preferred table. So that is how EF Cod thought, and he thought database also should be in a table format. Got it? So table is also known as relation in general. In general, it's a relational. See, let us assume, um, if someone talks me about what is the relation you're having, or else this is a relational model, your data, now you're getting data in a relational model. Maybe if my clients or my manager or the project manager is telling like that, then what happens in general? Obviously I will be thinking that it is in a table format. If I don't know, like I'll be getting data in a relational model, again it's a big task for me to figure out what is meant by relational model. See, it's very simple. It's a table format data. That's it. Okay. Okay, you know, right? Okay, let me take one example here. Just a small example. Okay, now do you think this is stable? Okay, or else, okay, now out of these two values, which is table and which is not a table? Now out of these two boxes, which is table and which is not a table? Excuse me. Hey Bhavya, it is so simple. Why you are asking me? We are not a kids to answer this question. Are you thinking in the same way? Hello.
The B1 is the table.
Perfect. See that this B1 is a table, right? One of our, friend has shared that B is a table. So apart from her, can anybody tell me why it is a table? Apart
Because it
from her.
has rows.
Perfect. See, if you don't have rows and columns, it is not a table, it is just a box. See, this is very important concept. This, you are going to write a code for this one in the future. Okay, so that is where I am asking you to remember. If you don't have any rows and columns, okay, forget about rows, yeah. Okay, forget about rows. If you don't have a columns, it is not a table. If columns are there, obviously rows will present. So if you don't have columns and rows and columns, then this is nothing but a box. It's not a table. Okay, now this vertical ones are nothing but columns, this horizontal ones are nothing but rows or records. Okay, so in general, in the industry, we generally call it as a records, but it's completely fine. Okay, if you call it as rows, or if you call it as columns, if you call it as attributes, if you call it as records, anything is fine. Attributes are nothing but columns, rows are also known as records. Okay, why I am telling you all these four words means, in the industry people are habituated to call attributes and records. Maybe I think I have mentioned it here. See, columns or attributes. Okay, tuple or row. Maybe you tuple, we are not using it in the industry. We are just using records. See, I will call this as a records, but my manager will call these are rows. Okay, I every time I will call it as records. He every time call it as rows. But we will never get a confusion, because I know row is also a record. He knows record is also a row. Okay, I call it as columns, he call it as attributes. We never get a confusion in discussing about any concept, because I know attributes are also known as columns, he know columns is also known as attributes. Okay, so this clarity you should keep in your mind. Okay, in technically, I mean, if you are a technical person, obviously, right, this is a technical thing, so you should call it as an attribute. Or my personal suggestion, okay, in the interview we are okay if they say anything. Okay, we will design a questions for interview, right, in a way that we are okay if they give anything, row or attribute as an answer. Okay, just give me 1 minute. So where we are, okay, see, rows or records, columns or attributes. So EF code introduce relational model. So in the relational model, data will be stored in the form of table. So this point you need to remember for now. Okay, answer me this question. Which database is leading the world now? You guys know that? Maybe just guess an
I
answer.
think a relational database.
Correct. So who answered this question? Accept them. Justify this answer. Just justify, like, because of this, maybe she thought of this is leading the world. Okay, I will help you. Okay, so one of our friend has told us that relational model is leading the world now? Maybe. Yes, it is leading the world. Why? Because it is in the form of table, guys. If it is in the form of tables, huge amount of data, let's come. It's okay, I can deal. It's okay, I can retrieve the data in a fraction of seconds. Hey, I'm not telling you if you are in a on premise. Okay, I will tell you what is meant by on premise or cloud. I will give you that clarity. Okay, so it is just because it is in the form of table, it is leading the world now. Okay, now see, SQL is used to communicate with relational database. So do we talk? I mean, did anywhere I mentioned SQL is used to talk to data? Hey, I mentioned, don't tell me no. Okay, SQL is used to talk with the data. But what kind of data? What kind of database? Data, if we have data, it should be in somewhere, right? It should be in some other database, right? So what kind of database it is help to talk? To the relational database only. Only to the relational database. If you take SQL and if you try to talk with Excel, it will hit you hard with errors. If you take SQL and if you talk with your parents, or if your colleagues, not with the colleagues may understand the language, right? So if you take SQL and if you um, talk with any word or with your textbooks, people will feel that we got something. Okay, so SQL is a medium. Okay, I and you are talking now, right? You guys know English, I know English, so we together has English as a medium. If you know some other Japanese language, I can't understand Japanese language. I know only Telugu, Hindi. Okay, I can't talk in Japanese. If you know that, for me it is very difficult to understand that one. If you know English, for me it's fine. If you know Telugu, for me it's fine. If you know Hindi, somehow it is fine. I can understand. See, there are some mediums to understand the language, right? So SQL is also that kind of medium. SQL is also that kind of medium, and it is helping me to understand the data, which is in the form of relational model. Okay, which is in the form of tables. Only if it is in the form of tables, then only we can communicate